Okay, today I'd like to talk about the Illuminati, the so-called Illuminati that everybody talks about. And what I'm going to consider as the Illuminati is a group of people that consider themselves illuminated, and they're kind of secretive. And I would include in that group such people like Masons, probably the higher echelon of Masons, not the lower group, probably the 30th degree and above would be Illuminati. Um, the Rosicrucians, anybody in witchcraft or Wicca or neo-paganism or Satanism or Luciferianism. Those groups I would consider to be a part of I'm going to make it a broad umbrella of the Illuminati. Now, what I think is going on, now there's the original group of the Illuminati that was in Bavaria under Adam Weishaupt, who started there in 1776. Of course, the mindset of Illuminati or the illuminated mindset goes way back to the mystery religions for thousands of years. But I do believe it's continued on today, and they've passed on the torch through different groups, and that's what's happening today, I believe, in the United States and even throughout the entire world. Now, the way I think of this Illuminati is not one homogeneous, monolithic group. It's more like the Christian church, what I would see as Christianity. Let's look at Christianity, for instance. You have the Protestant church, which I, of course, would consider myself a Protestant, and I would be Reformed charismatic, someone who believes in the Reformed doctrines of grace and predestination, yet I accept the charismatic gifts that are in operation today. Whereas a lot of other Reformed are cessationists. They don't think the gifts are for today. And there's other groups of Christians that, you'd have, say, for instance, the Methodists, who are not Reformed in their doctrine. They're more Arminian, who accept more libertarian free will and other things. And then you have the Pentecostals, who actually identify within the charismatic gifts. But most Pentecostals or Assemblies of God people are Arminian in their theology. They're more from Wesley and his libertarian free will view, whereas I come more from Calvin and Jonathan Edwards and that stream. Yet, between these two groups, there's a huge amount of similarity. So between me and, say, a Methodist, a Bible-believing Methodist, there's a huge amount of similarity. Same thing with like a Catholic. Now, there's even more differences there, and big differences that are important. And then even the Eastern Orthodox. But under all that umbrella, those three groups, the Protestants, Catholics, and Eastern Orthodox, would be considered Christianity. And then you'd have your little groups like the Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses, and those would be even considered by even the three main groups as cults. But under the umbrella of Christianity, those three main groups would be Christian in that sense. Now, true and false Christians is another question that we'd have to deal with it individually. And the hierarchical structure of each group is a whole other topic, especially the Catholic Church with the Pope and all that stuff, which I disagree with that completely. But that's a whole other thing. But between these groups, there's a huge amount of similarity under the group of Christian, and that's what I'm considering as the Illuminati. It's a bunch of groups that have differences between them. There's big differences between the Wiccans and Satanists and Luciferians. There's a lot of difference there. Yet there's a lot of similarity and common mindset with their use of magic and all these other types of things that they do in the occult. And same thing with higher degree Masons, I believe, and Luciferians and different groups that consider Lucifer, Satan, to be kind of the one who's the good guy and God's the bad guy. So there's all these differences even between those groups, but they have a similar mindset and they use the same symbols. For instance, like with me as a Christian, I'm driving on the road, I look on a car and I see somebody has a fish. Now I know, they're probably a Christian, a Protestant Christian. I'm like, oh wow. Now I don't know what stripe of Christian they are, but they're a Christian. Then you have, I'll look around and I'll see on a big building a cross. There's a Christian symbol. Or a dove. I know that's a Christian symbol of the Holy Spirit. So I look around and you can see all these, or the communion, the cup and the bread being broken. Those are communion symbols. Or IHS, which stands for Jesus Christ is Savior. Those are Christian symbols. So I know immediately if I see somebody has a shirt with that on, or a big cross or the fish or something, I know, okay, there's a Christian. I'm not a part of, they might not be the same type of Christian as me, but they are a Christian under that big umbrella Christian I'm talking about. I believe that's the same thing that's going on. Although I believe these groups are more secretive than Christians, obviously, and to differing degrees. Some are more open and outright. Some are more, like I believe satanic groups are very secretive in what they do, and some other groups. But under that Illuminati umbrella, I'm considering all these different groups, and they have a common mindset, and they have common symbols. Like for instance, the Illuminati symbol we know is the owl, an owl. They consider to be a wise being. You have the all-seeing eye that is a part of the Masonic symbol and Luciferian symbol and the Illuminati symbol. Then you have mirrors, which I know are very important in the occult. Mirrors are very important in there. So when you see that in a video, music video, mirrors, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's occult, but sometimes you can see they're pointing to that, or the Baphomet, or the pentagram, or the hexagram with the circle around it. Those are occult symbols that they would use, that they'd immediately identify. Oh, so if they see somebody or they see that, they'll go, oh, there's somebody that built that, especially Masons. They put that all over the place. Their Masonic symbols are all over these buildings. And you know, when another Mason sees there, oh yeah, a Mason put that there. So that's my brother Mason or whatever. I believe that's the same thing with the Illuminati. Even though they have differences between the groups, Wiccans and Satanists are very different, yet they have a common mindset, and they're definitely all opposed to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we as Christians are opposed to them and their doctrines in the occult. So, and that's how we war. We refute each other's doctrines, trying to convert people from one to the other. That's what I think is going on. And that's what I'm going to refer to under the umbrella of the Illuminati. I don't think that there's one monolith group that's the Illuminati. I think that the Illuminati is spread out through a bunch of different groups, and they all have the same mindset. They don't necessarily all meet at once. Yet there are times when rich and powerful people meet that is, you're like, wow, what is going on here? Because sometimes I see Christians go on crazy speculation about things in movies and all this, that there's Illuminati, there's Illuminati. There's differing degrees, and sometimes you're like, wow, that is something that's put there by somebody intentionally, an illuminated group that wants to put out their message. And here at the Bohemian Grove, I want to talk about this because now I never was in the occult. I had a friend, I believe, that was a Satanist when I was younger, who used to talk to spirits and stuff, and he was really into rock and roll, and he tried to get us involved in that. And I didn't go, and then he moved away, and I wasn't really too much into that. And we did a couple seances to try to call the spirit into him, called Rex, and that was interesting. And so I prayed over that, but I never was deep into it like he was. He was really into it. But here's a group here that I'm going to point out some things that I do know as a Christian theologian, that this is an anti-archetype to us as Christians. So here, let's watch this video. Take off your sorrows with the city stuff. So this is called the cremation of care at the Bohemian Grove. He's saying they're going to burn this effigy of a human being, of a human. And they're doing it under an owl. And of course, we know the owl is an Illuminati symbol that they really like. And they're going to pray to that owl and thank the owl and ask the owl to help them burn dull care, who is the cares of this life. But I think there's a lot more going on than just they're burning an effigy. I think there's other things happening there that they're trying to communicate as well. But watch. On memory, bring back well-loved names of gallant friends who knew and loved this road. Dear boon companion of the long ago time, let them join us in this ritual. Completely empty. So right now he's calling dead spirits to come and join them. People that had been a part of this Bohemian Grove in years past. He's calling dead spirits to join them. Okay, let's keep moving on here. Behold, in this gray autumn of the world, there is springtime in your heart. The $10 tale. He's telling them to come. So he's telling these dead spirits to come back and cast a spell over the mortals that are there. Now these men that are here, it's an all-men club and mostly conservative. Republicans go here a lot. It's mostly conservatives. And they have a huge amount of money. These are the movers and shakers in the United States. Presidents go here. People in the entertainment industry go here. All of these great big names come here with a ton of money that are very powerful in the United States. Come to this grove for 15 days. That's pretty scary. And they're at this Illuminati owl worshiping, asking the dead spirits to come and be a part of their ritual.
It is a dream, and yet not all of it. Don't care in all of his works. Has vanished Babylon and Tyre.
Okay, here's where I want to say, as a Christian theologian, this stuck out to me immediately when I started watching this. It says here, you probably can't see, but it says, as vanished Babylon and goodly Tyre. Babylon and Tyre. Now, if your Christian theologians know, the two biggest passages from the Old Testament and the prophets that we believe are double application scriptures are from Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28. Isaiah 14 is a declaration of God to the king of the king of Babylon. Isaiah 14, to the king of Babylon, that we believe is not only referencing him, but Lucifer, who's behind him. And that's one of the phrases he used, "O son of the dawn," which is Lucifer, the shiny one. Okay, he's using that phraseology, and we think, okay, that's not only applying to the king of Tyre, but to Lucifer as well. There's Satan, who wanted to be like the Most High. That was his sin, and he wanted to. He had violence in his heart, and he wanted to be like the Most High, and all this. And then the second one is in Ezekiel 28, which we believe is a double prophecy or a double application. One to the king of Tyre. Okay, the king of Tyre. And we believe that's referring not only to the king of Tyre, but to Lucifer as well, who was perfect in beauty in heaven and was a enthroned cherub in heaven, one of the top angels in heaven. You know, the six-winged beings up there. Lucifer was one, like, probably more powerful than them, was one of the top cherubs. And when you talk about the Ark of the Covenant, the two guarding cherubs over the Holy of Holies, Lucifer would have been one of those guarding cherubs. If you want to talk about, Hebrews says how that the temple was a shadow of what was in heaven. So you think of the Ark of the Covenant with the cherubs, the two cherubs. Well, Satan or Lucifer would have been one of those. They're referencing those two places. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I think that this is purposely done as an anti-archetype to us Christians, referring to Lucifer, who in Isaiah 14 is referred to, and Ezekiel 28 under the with the double reference to the king of Babylon and the king of Tyre. So that to me really struck out. I was like, wow, you guys are coming at us. This is a reference to Lucifer saying saying how although they passed away, the king of Babylon, the king of Tyre, and Lucifer inhabited them, we're picking up that mantle from them. And although they passed away, we will pass away, but it will continue on. See, so they're calling the dead spirits to come to them as well.
So shall they also.
So he's saying,
the wilding rose blows on the broken battlements of Tyre.
See, Satan in Ezekiel 28 is called beautiful in his perfection. So beauty, there's so many things here going on that I was like, wow, they're really referring to Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28 in reference to Lucifer. So to me, it was pretty staggering to see this. Let's finish up here with what they're saying. We bow to beauty everlasting. Is that Lucifer? That.
Return to one alone, and she surrounded you now.
So it's going to go on about nature, return to nature and all this. But to me, I don't think this is a coincidence that he references those two places, Babylon and Tyre, the two places that Christian theologians recognize as double references, one to the king of Babylon and to Lucifer, and the other, the king of Tyre and to Lucifer, okay, and to Satan. So I think that is, I would say that that's what is being referenced to, and Satan being called beautiful in his perfection. They reference eternal beauty. I think that there's some funky business going on here, and these are a lot of people that are supposed to be conservative. I think that there are also liberals here as well, but a lot of people that are conservative, they're supposed to be Christians, okay, that are involved in this ceremony. The Bushes were, Reagan was, Newt Gingrich came to this. There's a picture of him. There was somebody who said Clinton went here. There's no pictures of him there, but a lot of powerful people go to this and participate in this ritual. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. I'll make some more videos about symbols that I see in videos and all this that are, it can't be just coincidence that they're there. It's got to be more to it. Now, there are sometimes I listen to Christians and I think that's just a coincidence that when they try to say, oh, there's the Illuminati. But I do think there's times when you can definitely say, there's something here. There's something definitely here. Okay, God